You have been pregnant for a blessing for a very long time. The reason why I'm using pregnancy is because it's a biblical analogy that Paul uses pertaining to giving birth to a new beginning, giving birth to a blessing. But that analogy also highlights the overstimulation of joy. And there's nothing wrong with being overstimulated with joy. But just picture a mother, finally giving birth. She's relieved by the pain, but there's also after effects. There's the joy of having the baby being in your arms, being relieved of the pain, but then also that overstimulation of, wow, I'm a mom, my life is about to change, things are never going to be the same. That can all be a lot to process in the moment. And again, it doesn't matter if you're a male, because even a male being in the delivery room, seeing your wife in distress, and then going from seeing her in distress to all of a sudden her giving birth to a bundle of joy and you holding your child, that will bring a lot of joy to you. But then there's also that overstimulation of, wow, my life is going to change. I'm a father now. Nothing's going to be the same, right? It can be overwhelming, but joyful at the same time. And there's also a lot of peace revolving around this blessing. Now, why am I telling you this? Because many of you guys were in labor for a very long time, and many of you are about to give birth. The Lord showed me a vision of a big kitchen. Now, the kitchen is known spiritually as the place where the food is being prepped. Remember, before the food can be placed on the table in thy presence of thy enemy, the food has to be prepped, and the food is always prepped in the kitchen, okay? Now, there was this big kitchen, and there was a woman of God sitting at the table. And she was so joyful, so happy. She didn't know which direction to look in. She didn't know how to feel because she had just received a major breakthrough, okay? And in the process, I saw her sitting there and she was trying to, really grasp everything that was going on, really take in everything. But it's like she was also in shock at the fact that her life just changed so quickly. She wasn't standing, she had to sit because it was so overwhelming. Have you guys ever been so overstimulated by warfare, you thought it was gonna take you out? Well, imagine being so overstimulated by blessings. That's exactly how this woman was feeling. As she was sitting there and trying to breathe and trying to really take in everything, it's like she was trying to remain calm. She couldn't believe that what she just received happened to her. She couldn't believe that her life was about to change. She had to stay calm. And I noticed something around her. There was a bunch of balloons, okay? A bunch of balloons. There were blue balloons, white balloons, and pink balloons. Now, the reason why these balloons are blue and pink is because that is the significance of a baby. And how I know this does not mean that she was gonna give birth to an actual child is because she wasn't pregnant. In fact, she was dressed up in a very high quality business suit. She looked like she was ready for a meeting. She looked like high value status, okay? And she was just sitting there and all these balloons were just floating around her, okay? They were just floating around the kitchen. And she was trying to process everything. Then there was another woman that came in, okay? Again, just because I'm mentioning a woman, it does not mean if you're a male, it won't resonate with you. God uses visions sometimes and people in visions as analogy, okay? That's why he used the birth analogy, because although it resonates with a male, it's just highlighting the experience that a woman goes through giving birth, confirming the similar experience that happens when you receive your breakthrough. And being the male, again, you don't have to be the one giving birth, but you may be the one that's receiving a breakthrough, and you'll still experience these overwhelming yet joyful emotions because your life is about to change, okay? The woman that walked in, I don't know who this other woman is, but she was very professional. You can tell that she was someone that was helping this woman, and she was from some sort of organization, or she was some sort of resource, okay? Because their relationship was strictly business, okay? And when she came in, she was trying to tell the woman, okay, it's time for you to start prepping for your next blessing. And the woman that was sitting down was just like, hold on. Let me just take all this in for a second because I can't believe that this is even happening to me. Like, those were her words. And she was telling this lady that walked in that's trying to prep her for the next breakthrough to just hold on a second, because she was already so overwhelmed at the fact that this blessing just came in. Her life has just changed, and there's literally another blessing right there for her. And she just wanted to take the moment to process what's currently happening. Okay. This happens a lot oftentimes when we go through so much trials and tribulations and we're working on something so hard, we don't see results, and then all of a sudden it happens and our life changes, and before you know it, it's like we have to sit and process it. But then at the same time, blessings are coming in and it becomes so overwhelming because you're not used to everything working out back to back constantly, and you're not used to breakthroughs happening back to back. It's overwhelming, it's overstimulating, because you got to process the fact that you're no longer where you used to be. Your life has just changed. That means that everything else around you is going to change. You have new opportunities. You're also being perceived with respect. You're being perceived as who God called you to be. And you're looked at as a high value individual now. And you're just like, whoa, there's so much going on. There's a lot of overstimulation going on, yet there's joy, there's peace, there's that finally moment. But now that I'm in the moment, how do I process it? Okay. So I'm giving you the confirmation that there is going to be an overflow in your life, but not only is there going to be an overflow in your life, it's going to happen back to back. You're going to have to take a seat and you're going to have to sit and really just analyze everything that's going on, because it is going to be overstimulating receiving blessings back to back, because that's just going to be confirmation that things are never going to be the same for you. That is a very positive reality to look forward to, but yet also a very overwhelming reality to look forward to. Okay, so I want to give you this confirmation. Congratulations to many of you guys who are about to give birth. I'll see you guys later. Bye.